guys, welcome back to another video. As you might know, the 12.5 patch has enabled some great new features. One of them being the PostFX filters. And with this patch, the NVIDIA filters have been disabled, which means you have to set up your color graphic settings again. So today I will try to help you with this. Before I get into it, I want you to know that in the end, it's somewhat personal. What I'm going to show you are my personal settings. That means that you can tweak yours to your liking and they may differ in the end from mine. The way I set up my settings is believed to be the best one for PvP fights and gives you optimal range to see your opponents and their outlining. So to change your PostFX settings, you're going to the settings menu and you're going to PostFX tab on the top of your screen. You're gonna click enable PostFX, and from there you can change your sliders. Now I'm gonna go straight to the bottom. If you're colorblind, you could use this mode. I'm not colorblind, so I'm not gonna discuss this in this video. If you want to know more about that, you can watch a video of a streamer that uses colorblind mode. Color grading is kind of Instagram filters, so I don't really use them. And the good thing about this new PostFX menu is that you can click on visualize, which means you get a menu while you're in game and you can see straight away the differences you apply. For example, if I go saturation, you see it really changes it. So let's get started. Color grading gives me Instagram filters, which I don't really use. I don't need that. Why would you use that? We're mostly gonna work with the sliders today. So I'm gonna start off with brightness, which I like to put on 25, and the reason for that is if I go all the way low, it's gonna be too dark. If I go all the way high, it's gonna be too bright. My eyes are gonna hurt from this, and your eyes will get tired real fast playing the game because you need to concentrate, which means you can't play for a long gaming session. So I put it on 25, which means I got enough brightness, enough light to spot my opponents, to see what I need to see without hurting my eyes. Now saturations, as I showed before, is actually the amount of color applied to your screen. So if I put it on -100, you see it's like a black-white photograph. But if I put it on 100, it's gonna be so colorful I don't know where to look. Everything is gonna give me an impulse. My brain doesn't know what to grade as priority. So I put this one on 30. So I get a good balance between what should be colored and what shouldn't be, and my brain doesn't get too many impulses on where to look. Now as for clarity, it doesn't seem to change much, but if you look closely, it changes kind of the shaders, the way they land, the sun shafts, that kind of stuff. So I like to put this on 70 again because it's balanced, because if I put it all the way up, I barely get any light in on the buildings, but if I put it all the way down, it just doesn't look realistic, and I want it to look realistic so I don't get distracted by unrealism. That might sound a bit weird, but the brain just works that way. You're used to reality, so try to keep it as close to reality as possible. Now the color furnace, as you can see straight away, it is kind of like saturation, but this actually doesn't go so much to black and white, but just adds a lot of color when you pull it up. Again, same as saturation, it gives a lot of impulses to put it too high, and if you put it too low, you just won't spot the difference in colors and everything just seems blurry color wise. So I like to put this on 20. You can put it a little bit higher if you want. I like to put it on 20 because then you got a nice contrast in there. And personally I like color, but not too much, as I mentioned before, because then I don't know what to prioritize and what's important. So we're gonna go back to visualize. Now we got Luma Sharpen and Adaptive Sharpen, and basically they are kind of alike and you won't see much change, but what it kind of happened, it adds what I call gravel in your screen. It's like this little pixelated points which seem to move, and this is personal preference, but if you put it too high, or too low, the outlining of the opponents, so when people are peeking around the corner, are gonna be less visible. Either way, too high or too low, it's gonna be less visible because it's gonna blur in too much with the rest. So you need the perfect balance. Personally for me that's 30, without being annoyed by the pixelated screen, and actually 25 works for me as well, but I'm gonna leave it on 30 for now. And then we're gonna move on to the last one, which is adaptive sharpen. And if I look at this, it's kind of the same, adds a lot of pixelated, blurry background to it. So I'm gonna click yes for now. And if I look at it, I really don't like it this way. If I look in the distance, I could not decide what's an enemy and what's not if you peeked around the corner behind the blue fence over there. So if I go back to settings, PostFX, visualize, and I put this all the way down, it's gonna be blurry as well. So when I put it on 40, which I like, apply, I can distinguish an enemy from pallets I see right now in the background. I can see depth of field much better when it's balanced like this. Now of course, as I said, you might tweak it yourself a little bit and it won't really matter, because if I put it on 50 or if I put it on 30, 30 I notice a little bit of difference between 40 and 30, but it's not that much, so you can play a little bit with this. Anyway guys, I hope you find this useful. Please leave a like and subscribe if you like the video and if you want to see more content, and I'll see you guys next time.